Welcome to Puzzle Huddle. Today we're reading Bunheads.
All right, Bunheads. Everybody give me 5 to get started. And who wrote the story? Bunheads.
Misty Copeland.
Oh yeah, we love Misty Copeland. Let's get into the story. When Miss Bradley announced they'd be performing the ballet Coppelia for the recital, everyone in Misty's class shouted excitedly and gathered around to hear their teacher tell the story of Coppelia. Misty didn't know what Coppelia meant, and she was too shy to ask, especially since it was her first ballet class ever.
Wow.
So Misty took a spot on the floor, and before she knew it, she was completely entranced as Miss Bradley told the tale. Once upon a time, an odd old toy maker made a beautiful life-size doll named Coppelia to cure his lonely heart. The doll was so pretty and looked so real that a boy named Franz fell in love with Coppelia at first sight, even though he'd already told Swanilda he would marry her. Swanilda was furious when she caught Franz blowing kisses to Coppelia, but Franz ignored her anger. Later, Franz sneaked into the toy maker's house to see Coppelia, but the toy maker caught him. When the toy maker realized that Franz was in love with his doll, he had an awful idea. Maybe he could use Franz's love to turn Coppelia into a real girl.
Wow.
Lucky for Franz, Swanilda also sneaked into the toy maker's house out of curiosity, and she was still hidden inside. She overheard the toy maker's evil plan, and she decided to dress up like Coppelia and confuse the old man.
So she first did her hair, and then her outfit, and then her
makeup. Once the toy maker believed that his doll had finally come to life, Franz escaped. After that, Franz realized what a fool he'd been, and he married Swanilda. The two lived happily ever after. Misty loved how Swanilda never lost sight of her goal or her real love. She knew she wanted to be Swanilda. In just a few days, we will decide what roles you will dance in the performance, Miss Bradley said. Now let's practice. But first there was developpe to tendu, front with one leg lifted forward, the pointed foot gently touching the floor, like this.
wow.
Yep. Next was the ronde di jambe to tendu, front with legs stretched straight out to the front, making a big circle, round and around in the air with your toes, making a big circle. Like that. Yeah, just like
you imagine it.
Yeah, that's how I learned my ballet. Then it got a bit harder with the passe di bourree, moving from side to side as one foot crossed in front of the other, kind of like this.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah, oh, that's really doing it. You're doing a good job.
I'm just walking.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's similar. They had such fun with the tundu as the young dancers twirled and spun in unison. Finally, the lesson ended with the simultaneous passe di bourree again and again. Misty picked up the steps easily, following only a second behind the rest of the class. Have you ever danced Coppelia, Miss Bradley asked? Misty shook her head, nervously replying, I've never taken ballet before. Well, you're very good, Miss Bradley said. Come, she called to Misty and Kat, a younger girl who was full of energy. You two up front, you and you. Misty could feel her heart pounding. Boom, boom, boom,
Oh,
boom,
like
boom, boom.
they did that because they're going up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah. Miss Bradley asked Kat to show Misty the dance of Coppelia. Coppelia sits in a chair on the balcony of the toy maker's house throughout the first act of the ballet. Kat held her arms in first position and lifted her arms, and she turned her head like a robot, up and down and side to side. And
that's why I did the hair.
I think her hair too, yes. She performed the moves beautifully. When it was Missy's turn, she imitated Kat from memory. You are both very gifted, Miss Bradley said. As soon as Missy got home, everything about the new class and the Coppelia fairy tale tumbled out of her. I'm proud of you, Mommy said. Misty was so excited she could hardly sleep. She lay in bed thinking about the doll coming to life. Misty said her name out loud, Coppelia. It felt magical and full of mystery. The next day, Misty arrived early. Kat was there too, dancing the steps of Swanilda. Oh,
She
no.
looks taller.
Yeah, she does look super tall.
Because she's like close.
Yeah, because she's close to it. Oh no, Misty didn't know if she could compete with someone so talented. Soon Miss Bradley arrived. Do you girls know which parts you want to play in the recital? Misty held her breath as Kat answered, Copelia. When the other dancers arrived, filling the studio with laughter, Misty and Kat stayed close, learning from each other. Kat's movements were so sharp, while Misty's were soft. They tried to copy each other's style until they were giggling. At last, Miss Bradley was ready to audition the dancers to cast the parts that everyone would play in Copelia. Nearly all the hands shot towards the ceiling to audition for Copelia. Misty was nervous for Kat, but when Kat began to move, Misty knew no one would be able to outdance her. When it was time to dance the role of Swanilda, Misty was paired with a grinning younger boy named Wolfie.
What?
Yeah, his name was Wolfie.
Caleb has Wolfie.
Yeah, he has a doll named Wolfie, who was portraying Franz. Wolfie was on a mission to catch Misty's attention. The next day, Miss Bradley announced who would play the parts. Misty was excited when Kat got the part of Copelia and was even happier when she won the part of Swanilda.
Wow.
The next few weeks were full of hard work for Misty. She had to perform Swanilda and Copelia when she tricked the toy maker into thinking she was the doll who had come to life. It was a lot to learn. Watching Kat dance her parts with ease made Misty try harder. They inspired each other.
Wow.
The night of the performance, Misty was so excited, she couldn't keep still. Staring up at the heavy red curtain, Misty felt a hand on her back like this. You okay, Kat asked? Misty nodded. I'm ready. You ready? Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, we gotta go do our dancing. Give me another one. And then the curtain was rising up and away. Bright spotlights spilled onto the stage.
That's her mom.
Oh, I think that does look like her mom.
It is.
Casting a spell of stillness that would only be broken by movement like this. In her tutu and braided bodice, Misty pranced onto the stage as Swanilda, with Wolfie playing the part of Franz. At last, lost in the dance, she felt the heat of the lights when she twirled and imagined she could see every face in the room, especially mommies.
I think I know why their teacher chose him to be Franz, because he was the only boy. The only. Well, that was another boy.
Well, he was really good.
He was the toy maker.
Oh, he did play the toy maker. Okay. Misty smiled, proud of what she, Kat, Wolfie, and all the other dancers had accomplished together. She couldn't wait to see what they would do next. The end. Give me 5.
That's today's story, Bunheads. Bye.